Welcome back to the BookEnds YouTube channel. I'm James McGowan.
I'm Jessica Faust.
And we are literary agents who have taken our popular blog to YouTube to discuss all things publishing. Today we are talking about, wait, which one did we decide?
We are going to talk about knowing the terms of your author-agent agreement.
There you go. We have two ideas that we're doing today, and I forgot which one we were doing. So, yeah, so anytime you sign with an agent, there will be an agreement of some sort.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, we've talked a lot about in other videos about how to, I know, I was a little dance too, if you'd seen me in full mode. We talked a lot about how to handle an offer representation, how to manage it and get other agents involved. But I don't think we sort of talked about that next step, which is the understanding the author-agent agreement, which is obviously super important.
Yeah, hopefully it's an actual document that you sign. So there is something called a handshake agreement where some agents, don't know who, might wish to proceed.
Not throwing shade, because we
no
know
shade,
now.
no shade. Might wish to proceed with a handshake agreement with the, which is basically like, I'll represent you, this will be what we do, and this is how we'll go forward.
Which is very old school, the way things used to be done, but
right.
It's a different time.
It's a different time. There's a lot of bad players. So I would suggest an actual contract.
I would too. And the one thing I always say to authors is that I just think it's really important to have in writing what you can expect from me and what I expect from you. And it's not meant to, author agent agreements aren't meant to sort of benefit any one person over the other. It's really just a written list of expectations so that when I take my commission from your check, you knew that was coming and aren't surprised. I mean, it's basically that.
Yeah, it's, first of all, everybody wants to go into it and love their agent and trust their agent and all of these things with their agent. But the reality is it's business, and sometimes things that you don't expect happen. And in any contract is to protect both sides from the unimaginable, right? Like from not knowing what's going to happen.
That's the whole point of a contract.
Yes. So your author agent agreement should outline several things, which we're going to talk about today. But maybe we
it might have some other things in it, but I think we're going to highlight the key areas that you should expect and understand. And the rest of it are probably pretty clear in the agreement. The agreements tend not to be massive, just a couple pages, So.
Right. So in the beginning of the contract, it will be all the fun stuff about the name, the address, who the agency is, all of that. And it will give you sort of the terms of what the agreement covers, meaning how long, what books, what projects in general it will cover. Yeah,
and every agency does this differently. Well, maybe not every agent, but there are different ways to do this. There's no right or wrong. It really is your comfort level and obviously the agency's comfort level. Some agents do a one-book agreement. So it's just for this book, and depending on what happens, we will discuss your next book later. Some agents do a term that it's just this book and only for 2 years, and after 2 years, the agreement expires or we decide to renew it, let's say.
Right.
And some agencies do what I like to call the rest of your life. I like the rest of your life contract. It's really not that bad, but the idea is I'm hoping to go into a relationship that is just the beginning and that we're going to build on, and we're going to build a long career together. That's me personally. Again, I don't think any of these are wrong, and I think that an agency that might do a term is not necessarily showing you lack of commitment or less commitment than an agency that does the rest of your life.
Right, it's just how they work, and there are, pros and cons to both those situations.
But it's just so you know what they mean.
Yes, and also included in that section will be an exclusivity clause, basically saying that this is the agent that you've employed, be it for your work or be it for all of your book projects, and you won't be engaging with other agents for that work or those projects at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, basically, if you sign with James, then you can't also sign with Joe Blow Agency and see if both agents can be submitting your book and who is going to win.
What is a race?
I mean, really, agents wouldn't like that, but editors would hate that.
Oh, it'd be a mess to track, which is pretty much the most obvious reason why it shouldn't be done. It's not a competition once you get your agent. The competition is all before you actually sign that contract.
Can you imagine the phone calls from editors? I got this from you and I got it from Joe Blow. So I'm super confused. What am I supposed to do with this?
It'd be a message. There are times when just the same title flags a confusion.
So
like another book with another author, another genre. There's times where that happens. So,
Twitter would go crazy.
Yeah, it'd be nuts. Yeah, so that's something to be aware of because it'll likely be in your contract with an agent. But going on from there, probably the most obvious that the contract is for is to talk about money. We've got to talk about money somewhere. And this contract is going.
Go on.
Oh, I was going to say this contract is going to stipulate how much the agent is going to get paid, like what percentage, and what percentage for which kind of work they do.
Right. So there's a standard. Standard is still 15% commission on the book sale. So we sell it to a big five, we get 15%. But there are also sub rights like film, foreign, and other rights that your agent may hopefully handle for you. And those commissions will be slightly different because typically agents work in tandem with another agent depending on their expertise. You know, it could be an agent in France, it could be an agent in Hollywood. To retain those. So there will be some differential there, but it should be stipulated so that, again, you know what to expect when you get your check and how much commission is taken out. It shouldn't be a surprise.
Exactly. Don't like surprises.
Nope.
At all.
Nope.
Okay, and this is another big one, and this is perhaps the most important. So if you are signing,
I hate that this is the most important.
Well, it is because, again, like we said, contracts are about the unthinkable, right? Like you don't want that to happen, but there is a possibility that it might. So you might have to get out of your agreement. You might have to terminate it at some point.
Yeah.
Hopefully not. Hopefully you and your agent go on and ride into the sunset together with many bestsellers. But there are times where either you or the agent want to terminate your agreement. Perhaps it's not a fit editorially or any other reason we're not going to get into here. But how do you do that? This contract should outline that.
Yeah, and again, there's no super right or super wrong answer. It should just be fairly simple. You know, you shouldn't have to sell anything or buy anything or give up any small humans in your life. You should just be able to terminate.
That'd be terrible. Yes,
I mean, unless you want
this agreement for your firstborn child.
I mean, we're still in a pandemic, so I don't know. Maybe you want to give up small humans at this point, but that's between you and your agent. I don't want to be involved in that. But the termination should be fairly simple. It should outline what happens if projects are still under submission during this time, and at what point things are officially ended with you. Usually, there's sort of a grace period for the agent and you to wrap things up in, and how the termination should be delivered. I mean, you know, carrier pigeon, helium, whatever it is.
It used to be certified mail, right?
For yes, because that was all we had.
How you did things.
Yeah. Now email works too.
Yeah, now it's just an email. Some people will still follow up with a certified mail letter. But just make sure you understand that. You should know all of this stuff before you sign that contract. It should be something that you are paying attention to.
Yeah, and if it's not in there, you know, if there is no termination clause, you know, there's nothing wrong with asking the agent if something could be included. You know, this is your agreement. But at the end of the day, when you look at the agent author agreement, it should be fairly straightforward. It shouldn't be something that's overly complicated. We like to leave that to the publishers to do.
Right. It should be wrapped in legalese.
But if there is something in it that you don't understand or need clarification on, you should absolutely have that conversation with the agent.
Right. So we keep saying this, make sure you read it. Read it before you sign it. Make sure that you discuss any concerns you have. You should be fully armed with all the knowledge you need to confidently sign that agreement before you do.
Yeah. And congratulations if you're looking at it right now.
Yes, and we hope to see you back here next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss a video.
Bye.